kind of, first of all, how was your bye week? Did you kind of get away and relax a little bit?
Yeah, it was great. Went down to sunny side Florida. Just took some time off, chilled, kicked it with some friends, family. So it was a good time.
Awesome. For you, I guess these last 4 weeks, how do you as a veteran just kind of approach, last 4 weeks, obviously you guys want to end this losing streak, but how does anything change with the approach, kind of with the reset, or is it still the same? Focus on this week, take care of this, and try to, turn the tide a little bit. Yeah,
I think you just reemphasize, being 1-0 in the week. That's starting off with recovery on, today, yesterday, getting back right from the bye week. Wednesday, Thursday, locking in on those days. Friday, detail some things up. Saturday, you should be just all mental prep, and then want to go 1-0 on Sunday. So I think it's just, it stays the same as in terms of just like a 1-0 mentality. Week by week, we can't really control anything that happened in the past anymore. So you just focus on the week ahead of us and try to go 1-0.
On a different kind of note, I know Brian Burns is not in your position room, but just being around him as a teammate, just what did you see from him that makes him, one, such a good leader, and two, makes him so great on the field, just from what you've seen on that back end?
Yeah, I think he just does the things that take no talent. He does those things well. The effort to the ball, the handling his process through week in and week out. Handling recovery and making sure that he's on the job. I think he just handles the simple things very well, and that allows him to have a clear mind when he's out there playing. And when you have a clear mind on the field, you just react and you play your best. So I think that's what gives him the advantage.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brian Dunleavy.
Hey, Jevón, thanks for doing this.
No problem.
When you signed here, you talked about coming here, being part of a winning culture, and I think that's every free agent when they go to a new place. One of the things they're weighing, besides the contract, is where can I go and win? It's the first time you have a say in where you can go and win. So how much has this come as a surprise to you to be where you are, and how certain are you guys can get this fixed?
I'm very certain that we can get this fixed. I mean, I feel like every year, you go through, different swings of adversity, and you have to fight those with, other forms of distractions. But I think this year, regardless of how our record is, I feel like we've been in a lot of games and, down to the wire. And I'm confident that, in these last 4 games, we're going to be able to, exemplify that we can win those games when we're close and towards the end of the fourth quarter. And, leading into next year and just focusing on us being, our best in those dire situations. I'm very confident, and I think still to this day that we have that ability to go out there and win. I just think that the cards didn't fall our way, and that just it happens. It's any given Sunday, so I'm not discouraged or anything like that. I mean what I said when I first got here, and I'm going to continue to stand by that.
It's interesting what you said about being in the games. Is a loss, Jevón? Or when you go home at the end of the season, or even last week on your bye week, when you have perspective, is there more encouragement in the fact that you're in a lot of games, or is a loss, or is 2-11 2-11?
I mean, 2-11 is still tough, but when you watch the games and especially playing in the games, there has been moments where I'm like, man, we were right there. You know what I mean? Like this 1 or 2 plays that kind of, give the other team the advantage to go and get the dub. And those are lessons that we can learn from and that we're, continuing to learn from. But a loss is a loss, through and through. 2-11 is 2-11. We do have to win those games, but we are learning a lot from them, and it's, encouraging knowing that we're in the game and we can play with, whatever team that we go against. We just have to figure out how to continue to put it together throughout the whole course of the game.
Thanks, Jevón.
No problem.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Jevón, how are you? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm wondering, you were a guy, some of your teammates are probably going to be in your position that you were in last year. 4 years with the team that drafted you, and then you move on into the open market and you sign with a new team. Can you just think back on that a little bit? Was this a tough time, thinking about that last year? Am I going to be here? Am I going to be back? And if any of your teammates who might be in that situation asked you about, what might be coming for them down the road.
Are you talking about right now, like with 4 games left? and I'm thinking about it last year?
No. I mean, I'm sure you're not thinking about it now. I'm showing, last year at this time you were closing out. You were getting ready to end one chapter and begin another chapter, which you started with the Giants. Some other guys in your locker room are probably going to be doing the same thing. Is that a difficult thing for an athlete to think about? And maybe do you have some suggestions or recommendations to some of your teammates about what they might be headed into?
I don't. Last year, when I was in this point right now during the season with 4 games left, there was no thought of me going to another team. There was just the thought of me finishing out the season. And I feel like there's no one on this team that has that thought process of thinking about next year, where they're going to be at. Everybody's focused on where their feet are. So when the offseason comes, I'll have all the advice that they need. But right now, I don't got no advice for them, because I don't think anybody was going to ask for that advice for real.
And that's a discipline that you believe athletes have. I mean, I always try to put myself in a situation of somebody, even though I'm certainly not a player like you are, and think, boy, I don't know where I'm going to be next year. And sometimes that just goes into your head, even though you don't want it to. You're saying that you feel that discipline is such that you're thinking about this week, and the players mostly don't think about, I wonder where I'm going to be next year. They're too disciplined for that, you think?
Yep.
That was a very disciplined final answer. Thank you.
Yep, that was the point.
We'll take one more. Art Stapleton.
What's up, Jevón? How you doing?
Hey, Art.
Why do wins matter when you're 2-11? Why does it matter to you guys to go out there on Sunday and win? I know it's about doing a job. I know you're a professional. But what is it about winning a game? What does that mean to you and to this team?
I just hate losing. I'm a competitor, so winning is what I want to do. I don't want to lose. I don't care if it's for anything. I play this game for fun. I happen to get compensated for it, which is great for me and my family, but I play the game for fun, and I want to win because winning is fun. So that's what winning means to me. All right, you muted.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
You think that that gets lost sometimes when all the focus is, look, everybody wants to win championships and win divisions and, win a lot of games in this league. But when you get to a point, there's only a small group of people who are actually still playing for that this late in the season. Does it get lost sometime? Do you have to remind yourself of why you play the game as a team collectively, maybe not necessarily you as an individual?
That's a good question. I don't necessarily think, you have to remind people, why we play the game and whatnot. I think the people who end up winning championships, they realize that looking at the championship game is not where your focus needs to be, because you have to win the next game in order to get to the championship. So if you just focus on the next game, and then that's the only way that you can step forward and move forward throughout the postseason, late in the season, December football. Yeah, if that answers your question. I really don't, because if you focus on trying to win championships, obviously that's the overall goal, right? But you can't get to the championship if you don't win the next game right in front of you. And if you overlook the next game in front of you, then that's how, teams take advantage of you. Or, there's been plenty of times when a team has a bad record, and then a really good team plays them, and then the bad team, so quote unquote, beats the good team. And it's these guys were overlooked, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of the time, that's not the case. Teams are just focused on winning the next game, regardless of their record. So.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, you answered it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem, man.
We'll take one more quick one from Dunleavy. Go ahead, Ryan.
Jevón, I was just wondering, the last time you guys played Washington, the outside buildup was huge measuring test for the Giants against the NFC Championship game participants. Is this a reminder for everybody that it's such a year-to-year league? Is it even a reminder for players that it's such a team's fates can flip from one year to the next?
Not really. No. It's it's the next game, so it's important. But I don't think that's the outside buildup is kind of what I was focused on in your question, and I feel like I don't really care what the outside buildup is. It's
I meant Washington's fate of going from NFC Championship game to, I don't know, I think they're 3-10 or whatever. So it just shows you how much things can change from one year to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. Their quarterback went down. They had some things going on. Same with us. Our quarterback had gone down a little bit. We got some guys banged up. So, it happens every year. You never know when it's going to happen, or you just kind of got to take the crookeds with the straights.